Hey everyone, First T here. Thanks for checking out this YouTube channel. Congratulations, Adam Scott, on winning the 2020 Genesis Invitational. Here's his post-win press conference interview.
05 when you won was not official. Must feel pretty good. A little bit of redemption. Just some comments.
It feels really good. I mean, that's fun to poke fun at the thing in 05, but it is 15 years ago, so I really moved on from that by now. But it's incredibly satisfying to win a tournament of this stature on a golf course of this stature. It was a wonderful week. It was incredibly enjoyable just being here with the weather like this, the course in perfect condition and a great field. But even better to come out on top and kind of have your game really tested today. It was not easy, and that was most enjoyable to kind of see that my game is holding up to that.
And it's back-to-back wins for you and back-to-back starts. The Australian PGA Championship at the end of last year, and this is your first start this year. Also moving to number 16 in the FedEx Cup. Just if you could just talk about out there on the putting green, Tiger and you were discussing about the difficulty of the golf course. You said it was really, really difficult today, and he found it even more difficult. Can you just give us an idea of how hard it is on the final day to win when the golf course is that difficult?
Well, I'd say you have to take away the big mistakes, but I made them to do today as well. I mean, on 4 and 5, it could have really slipped away, but you know, it's in those moments where you just have to kind of cliche everything and get back in your process or stay in the moment and just do what's been working well. It's not time to kind of get flustered and try something new on the 6th hole of the final round. You know, I just really tried to do what I'd done all week on that next swing and made a good swing and made a good putt, and that kind of gave me the belief that I just had to keep doing that all day and believe that there was enough good golf in me to keep me in a position at the end to have a chance.
Terrific. We'll take some questions. Just raise your hand. We'll get your microphone and we'll start.
Adam, so many big putts on the back nine for birdie, par, bogey, you name it. Does any of them stand out to you?
Look, the putt on 17 was great because it kept me fairly comfortable. I actually, the shot that stood out was deciding to flop the second chip on 15 after I was plugged in the bunker and I kind of knifed it across the green. It was in a horrible position then, and I stood there and I wanted to maybe bump it into the fringe, but realistically it was going to go 45 feet past probably, and I thought, well, you can maybe win the tournament if you hit a great flop shot here, so I thought I may as well just go for it. And I had a little bit of that kind of mindset, not just today, but the whole week, of not careless, but what have I got to lose kind of thing going, and give myself a good chance to get back in the winner's circle on the PGA Tour. So that shot stood out for me, the flop shot on 15.
We'll go Evan and Jason.
Scotty, you turned 40 in July. Just wondering where you feel your career's at this stage, and how much self-belief do you take out of this?
My career is in a good spot, I guess. You know, even before winning this week, I feel like physically and somewhat mentally I'm okay after 20 years out here. And, you know, I really do believe if I can maintain motivation and focus, the next 5 years can be my best years on tour. But you know, that it's easy to say those things, it's very hard to do. Maintaining that focus and that drive for the long periods of time isn't easy, but I think I need that to achieve everything to leave the game satisfied at some point. But they're pretty lofty goals, so this is a good start. It's one week out of the next 5 years.
Jason.
Adam, I think you were probably the last elite level player to make his first start of 2020, and probably not for the first time. Mm-hmm. Did you feel like this week that you were trying to play catch up, or did you feel like you almost had an advantage in that you were more well rested than everybody else?
Yeah, I'm in this position a little bit because I always end up playing a few weeks in Australia, and last year in particular it was very late. Our tournament finished December 22, and I just felt like the way the schedule is now, with the majors month after month after month, and then the FedEx Cup, I have to give myself a decent rest, because it's very hard to take more than 2 weeks off at a time. If you take 3 weeks anyway, you're missing something important, and I kind of wanted to get back in the world golf events and play them this year, and use them as a good measuring stick for my other preparations, I guess. So I needed that break. Yeah, I saw earlier in the week I was 100 and something on the FedEx Cup, and it feels like you've got a mountain to climb. But with one good week now, I'm sitting a lot more comfortably on that quest. So I think you just have to believe I believe I'm doing the right thing for me. I mean, I just kind of check what my gut says. I needed a break after it was for me personally, the 3 weeks in Australia was very taxing. The President's Cup was incredible, and then to kind of win the week after was brilliant and took a lot out of me. So I think I needed that break.
Suzanne and then Ben.
Yeah, congratulations. Also, first of all, you had a great PGA, which you won. Now, Cam Smith won at the Sony. Mark Leishman a couple of weeks ago in Torrey.
Mm-hmm.
What's with Australian golf? And now you, the third Australian winner on the PGA Tour. Is it something that came about in Australia, or what?
I think you're right. I think it's something that came about from that President's Cup, and it's not surprising. I've seen it before with some guys off the back of an incredible President's Cup experience where there's pressure out on the golf course, and guys really learning and elevating their games, and then putting that into practice the next time they're in a pressure situation. I know I did that back in 2003. We played in December in South Africa, and I remember leading the players going into Sunday, but using that pressure situation, playing with Ernie in South Africa, as a way to know that I can handle it. And I think some of us might have done that off the back of this President's Cup. So, and it's certainly motivation for me, seeing Cam and Mark win, to come out and make sure I'm not the one lagging behind. So, over to Jason.
Ben and then Jeff.
He messed up last
Thank
week.
you.
He messed up last week. Just sort of continuing on from that, I was talking to John up there, and he says he's noticed, obviously, over the 18 months, a incremental increase in the drive again and the work ethic. That probably coincides with, I guess, getting in parenthood and getting into that flow, if you will, again. Is that fair? Or have you figured it all out now, and are you putting the time in you need to?
I'm putting the time in for sure. I think it was just more. I think I'm doing it in a much calmer way that's much more effective and productive when I am practicing. For sure, I think it's taken me a couple years to kind of figure out how to balance everything going on and try and play at the top level, So I think I'm getting better at that. Hopefully I keep getting better at that. But, I really feel like the work that I did on my game with Brad the last 2 weeks was very effective for just kind of 2 weeks work out of the last however long it's been since I've been playing. I'd like to top it with results. I mean, I played incredibly well consistently for that period. I mean, I almost didn't miss a cut for 3 years, and I had lots of good results. But if you look at the win tally, I think I'd like to improve on that. So this is a good start. I'm not really putting a number on it. I'll just see what happens. I think to just win anything is difficult now, but also the big goal is to be a multiple major winner, and I think kind of the habit of winning is good for that. So it's nice to win anything anything that you're playing in.
Good, Jeff, and then Mike.
Adam, back to that shot on 15 where you said you just kind of let it go and it's a little bit different for you. Do you attribute this to age, or is it anything in particular that kind of got you thinking that way? And then also where this win ranks among your career wins?
I think it is age or experience or something. You know, as I chat about my feelings when I play with my coach, you know, we often talk about just letting go a little bit. I mean, at times I feel like I'm too loose on some shots, but then there are other moments where I play a little too conservative all the time. You know, it's a fine balance, playing down the stretch in contention and finding the right place. But it was fairly clear to me at that moment, you know, my first thought was bump it into it's safe, but I'll probably make a double. And I thought, I really want to win this, and maybe this shot can do it. And I had a really great shot. It was quite fun. So, yeah, I think it is a little bit of age and experience, and to be able to kind of process that, that's a positive thing in the heat of it. And as far as ranking this, it feels really good right now. I think anytime you're coming off a bit of a drought of wins, you know, I've always kind of judged myself and graded myself on winning tournaments. And I'd done that fairly consistently throughout my career, but it's been nearly 4 years since I won on the PGA Tour. This is an important step for whatever this next few years is in my career. So I think it is important. It can definitely be used for momentum.
And Mike, and then Evan.
Adam, there were a lot more bogeys, it seemed, on the leaderboard today, which really impacted it. I'm wondering, when you got to 17, and you were leading by 1, did you think you really needed to make birdie there just to create a little bit of room, or what was your thinking there? And then when you got to 18 with the 2-shot lead, did that change how you thought about it at all?
Yeah, I wanted to birdie 17, absolutely. I mean, getting the drive in play made the hole a birdie hole for me. And I know I'd be a lot more comfortable on the 18th tee with a 2-shot lead than a 1-shot lead. So I didn't hit a particularly good second shot into 17, and the lie was not very good, and I had to play out to the left, but it was a great putt, and that putt is almost the winning putt, I feel, at that point. So that was a nice one to make, and it gave me a very comfortable kind of walk up the 18th once my drive was up the top of the hill.
Scotty, just wondering how much the winless drought weighed on your mind the last 4 years?
I think probably for a couple years it weighed on my mind. It was frustrating, but I think I was generally frustrated for 17 and 18. You know, I was pushing myself very hard. There was lots changing in my life with a couple of kids and stuff, and I was pushing myself very hard on the golf course, probably in the wrong direction a little bit, and just, you know, having that battle, like you get in a bit of a funk and still expecting to just be a great player and win tournaments. And I realized, you know, you really need to have things lined up and things kind of going your way to give yourself a chance to win out here. There's so many great players. It's very hard to see anyone dominating because the strength is deep now, and you know, slowly but surely I've kind of got things back into a good place.
And just to follow it up, do you feel that you'll sort of play freer the rest of the year, knowing that monkey's off your back?
Hopefully. I mean, it's weird. I'm sure you take away confidence from it, but as soon as you come down to putting pen on paper next Thursday again, you're going to, you know, whatever instincts you naturally have, they kick back in, and, you know, I'm not going to be happy just freewheeling it next week and running 50th because I just didn't care and just went for everything. You know, I'm going to try and play the way I know I think is best for me. So hopefully it does just give me the confidence to play a little better, and certainly those fresh feelings of what it's like being in contention is good, I think, especially coming into majors.
Bounce across to the side.
Yeah, when you take a break from competition that is as long as you took, and it seems like everyone else on tour is playing and playing big events, at the beginning of this week, are your expectations as high as I can win, or are they somewhat tempered, it being your first start out?
Oh, they were slightly tempered, for sure, but after the second round, which was really solid stuff, I started really striking the ball well again. You know, the kind of rhythm was happening. I think it was about on the 7th hole on Saturday. Things were going a little slowly, and I kind of said, well, if you play good, you're right in this thing from here. So I kind of had to put the competitive mode on a little bit. I think it was Saturday, about the 7th hole, and take myself back to kind of where I finished last year. So yeah, sometimes you have to actually make a point of it. It's not just always automatic. Because I did come in here, you know, just trying to feel out where my game was. Even though I felt confident on Thursday, you just never know after a little break.
We got Ryan and then Doug.
Adam, two quick things. First, besides practice, obviously, how did you turn your short game and putting from maybe a liability into a strength?
I just got a little bit creative with my short game about 18 months ago. I was fooling around a little bit, doing kind of some silly stuff by the green, and my coach said, you know, look, as silly as that might feel and you're messing around, it actually looks like it's in a really good position to hit shots from, so just keep fooling around. And that's kind of evolved into what I'm doing now. It's not very technical at all, it's just a feeling in my right arm, and that was it. And it was great last year, and my confidence has gone up because I've performed better with it. And you know, I've chipped away at the putting. The putting has always been something that's temperamental with me, certainly mentally. But you know, I think I've found what works well for me, you know, in the way I practice my putting, and also in the type of putter that I'm using.
And totally unrelated, what happened on 15T? It looked like you guys, or you hit into Joel.
We couldn't see them. I mean, that might sound funny. They're standing in the middle of the fairway, but it just looked like they were part of the gallery. So I wasn't really giving them a hurry up, although it was pretty slow out there today.
Go ahead, Doug.
I think it was a couple of years ago, Adam, when you were you had to qualify for the U.S. Open, and your ranking was lodged, and they ran the 60s or 70s. You're back into the top 10 now. Did that feel like a long way away then? Does it feel like a short time ago now?
Yeah, at that point, that was, you know, the height of frustration, I think, around that kind of qualifying time. Obviously, that's a position I don't ever want to be in again, but it's just over 18 months ago, I guess. You know, I've done a good job, I think, of turning things around, you know, and kind of putting it all back together. So it does feel like a long time ago, actually.
And you said on the green in the TV interview, whatever point in my career I'm at, I'd just be curious, what exactly is that? Are you
Well, I don't know.
middle-aged,
Everyone tells me I'm turning 40 this year, and you know, I don't know if they're insinuating that's kind of the beginning of the end. I don't know if that's from experience or just, there's no doubt. I mean, you know, the age of guys peaking is getting younger. There's far less dominant players in their 40s today than there was before. So, you know, I feel lucky at the moment. I'm very healthy as far as the golfing for 39-year-old goes, and
Sorry,
I I got to make the most of that while I'm out here. You know, it's only going to get harder probably. I hope I'm the exception to the rule and kind of play like VJ did in his 40s.
Andy.
Adam, congratulations. I would like to ask you about a question about your trusted set of irons. I know those 680s came out, I believe, back in 2003. Just curious to see if you can comment on what are the quality of the attractiveness of that particular iron, and how many sets have you went through to that current model? I'm sure you like to get some fresh grooves and stuff.
Yeah, they are pretty trusty, the old 680 irons, and they've been out a long, long time. What do I like? I mean, it's just personal things I like about it. They have a fair bit of offset compared to some irons today, and the blade is a little bit longer. It's just what I'm used to looking at with a forged bladed golf club. There's a lot of feel involved in that, and these ones feel a certain way, and I really feel like I know what they're doing. So I probably use a set every 18 months or so. So I've gone through a few sets over the years.
Let's just take one more, Ted.
Well, at the moment I have 2. Hopefully there are some more somewhere.
Adam, congrats. 15 years ago we sat here, and I want to get the details right. Were you able to take the trophy home and you had to give it back? Or did you ever get the trophy?
Yeah, no, the trophy's at home.
It is?
Palm trees and a golfer.
Okay.
So I have the trophy. It's been sitting at home ever since.
So how satisfying is this to say it's official now, and do you consider yourself a 2-time winner of this event, whatever the books say?
Yeah. I kind of do, but it doesn't really matter. This is incredibly satisfying. Certainly, we've seen this tournament elevate over the last few years, thanks to Genesis, and certainly with Tiger coming in. It's now an invitational style field. And it's a big deal, and it truly feels like a big deal, especially, you know, we've had incredible weather this week. It's at a great venue, and you know, really the crowds come out and enjoy themselves. So it's got a lot going for it here at Riviera, that's for sure.
Congratulations once again, Adam Scott. What are your thoughts on the 2020 Genesis Invitational? Let me know in the comments section below, and please click on the thumbs up icon if you liked this video. Subscribing to this YouTube channel and sharing the video also helps, and don't forget to click on the notification button for this channel so you won't miss the next First 2 Tee video.